What's up, Commanders fans? Our team is pushing every single day to get better, to refine the roster, and to put the very best product on the field in 2025. That's the mission under Adam Peters and Dan Quinn, perfection through preparation. And as we get closer to Week 1 against the New York Giants, the front office is making moves that could impact not just this week, but the entire season. Before we dive in, smash that like button if you're proud to be a Commanders fan and want to see this team chase greatness. It really helps the channel grow and keeps the Commanders community strong here on YouTube. Alright, let's get into it, because we've got breaking news about a possible addition to the wide receiver room and 3 burning questions that will define Washington's season opener. The headline today is that the Commanders are officially hosting veteran wide receiver Kendrick Bourne for a free agent visit this Tuesday. Now, this is not some random name thrown into the mix. Bourne is a player with legitimate experience, toughness, and familiarity with people inside this building. Remember, Adam Peters was in San Francisco's front office when the 49ers first brought Bourne into the league back in 2017 as an undrafted free agent out of Eastern Washington. Peters knows this guy, knows his work ethic, and clearly sees value in what he could bring to Washington right now. Let's rewind a bit. Bourne fought his way into the NFL the hard way. Undrafted, small school, long odds. But he earned his spot with the Niners, became a reliable depth receiver, and then eventually cashed in with the New England Patriots on a 3-year, $22.5 million deal. In New England, he proved he could be productive even in a less-than-stellar offensive system. Most recently, Bourne asked for his release after the Patriots couldn't get a trade done with the Vikings. That decision freed him up, and now he's looking for his next home. And here's the interesting part. His free agent visits were scheduled with only 2 teams, the San Francisco 49ers, where it all started, and the Washington Commanders. That tells you something. It tells you Bourne values familiarity, and it tells you Washington is serious about finding depth behind Terry McLaurin, Deebo Samuel, and Luke McCaffrey. At 30 years old, Bourne isn't coming in to be a superstar, but as a savvy veteran who understands how to play in tough moments, he could be the kind of glue piece that pays off down the stretch of a long season. So, Commanders fans, keep your eyes on this. Bourne could be the next weapon Jayden Daniels gets to work with. Now let's shift gears, because the Kendrick Bourne visit is only part of the story. Washington enters Week 1 against the Giants with 3 major questions that could define whether we start this season with a statement win or stumble out of the gate. Let's be real. Terry McLaurin got his well-deserved payday this summer, and nobody can deny he's earned it. But he skipped training camp, skipped preseason, and spent months away from the team facility while his contract was being finalized. That naturally raises questions. Is Terry going to be in mid-season form when the ball gets snapped against the Giants? Last year, he was spectacular, 82 catches, over 1,000 yards, 13 touchdowns. He was Jayden Daniels' go-to weapon, his safety blanket, his big play target. And with Deebo Samuel now lining up opposite him, you'd think defenses would have their hands full. But for that plan to work, McLaurin has to be sharp from day one. Jayden Daniels has made it clear he's not worried. He said their chemistry hasn't gone anywhere. Still, this will be the storyline everyone watches in Week 1. Will McLaurin shake off the rust immediately, or will it take a few weeks to get him rolling? If there was one frustration fans had last year, it was the inconsistent pass rush. Despite a playoff run, the Commanders' defensive line graded 31st in the NFL by PFF. That's simply not good enough. Adam Peters and Dan Quinn know it. That's why they made moves this offseason. The headliner addition is Von Miller. Now, Miller isn't the every-down monster he once was, but at 36 years old he can still be a situational closer, especially on 3rd downs and late in games when you need that one sack to end it. The team also added Javon Kinlaw, bringing more size and versatility inside. And don't forget, rookies like Kymon Rucker and Trey Amos will also have opportunities to make an impact as this defense reshapes its identity. But let's not sugarcoat it. Washington has to get off the field on 3rd downs. If they can't generate pressure, it won't matter how much the secondary has improved. And with Malik Neighbors waiting in Week 1 for the Giants, you better believe the pass rush has to make Daniel Jones uncomfortable, or it could be a long afternoon. The third big question comes in the backfield. Brian Robinson Jr. is gone, traded to the San Francisco 49ers. That leaves a hole in this offense, because Robinson was the steady, reliable presence who could grind out tough yards. So now, it's up to a committee, veteran Austin Ekeler, rookie Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, and Chris Rodriguez Jr. all figure to be in the mix. Offensive coordinator Cliff Kingsbury may go with the hot hand approach, rotating guys until someone establishes themselves. And then there's the wild card, Deebo Samuel. Head coach Dan Quinn even hinted that Deebo will get some carries out of the backfield. That kind of versatility can be a nightmare for defenses, but someone still has to emerge as the reliable, every-down back. If Ekeler proves he's got enough juice left, or if Krosky-Merritt explodes onto the scene, this backfield could surprise people. But losing Robinson isn't small. It's one of the most underrated storylines heading into this opener. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt has been the buzz of camp. The rookie has speed, power, and a hungry mindset that coaches love. He's been making highlight runs in practice, breaking tackles, and showing that he belongs at this level. Fans have been chanting his name, analysts are circling him in fantasy drafts, and even teammates have talked about his energy being contagious. But here's the thing. The NFL is not just about flash. It's about trust, execution, and being in the right place at the right time. And as much as Krosky-Merritt looks like the future, the Commanders might look to the steady hand of Chris Rodriguez Jr. to get the first crack at being the lead back in Week 1. According to Sports Illustrated's Mark Morales-Smith, there's a real chance that Rodriguez starts the season handling early downs and even goal line work. That's important because touchdowns matter, both in real football and in fantasy football. Think about it. Jayden Daniels is entering his second season, and the Commanders are facing a tough Giants defense in Week 1. What do coaches love in that situation? Reliability, ball security, the ability to push through the line for those tough 2 or 3 yards when it really counts. That's where Rodriguez has an edge. He might not rip off a 50-yard highlight run like Krosky-Merritt, but if it's 3 RD and 1 on the goal line, don't be surprised if Rodriguez is the guy Dan Quinn and Cliff Kingsbury call on to punch it in. And if Rodriguez starts hot in Week 1, fans and fantasy managers alike are going to start looking at him a little differently. Now, let's be real, this backfield is tricky. The Commanders don't have a clear-cut number 1 after trading Brian Robinson Jr. to the 49ers. Instead, they've got a mix of Austin Ekeler, Krosky-Merritt, and Rodriguez all fighting for touches. That's what makes this a committee conundrum. Fantasy players hate it, coaches love it. Because it keeps defenses guessing. One drive you might see Ekeler catching passes out of the backfield. The next drive, Krosky-Merritt is cutting outside for a big gain. And when the team needs someone to hammer it up the middle, Rodriguez gets the call. But here's the problem for fantasy football managers. You never know which back will be the star on a given Sunday. One guy might rack up yards, another might steal the touchdowns. That can be frustrating for anyone trying to set a lineup. For Commanders fans, though, it's a good problem. Depth in the backfield means durability, and durability means this offense can keep humming deep into the season. Let's talk fantasy for a second, because I know a lot of you watching are also putting together your drafts right now. Morales-Smith made a great point. By now, Krosky-Merritt is gone in almost every league. He's been picked, stashed, and hyped to the moon. But Rodriguez? He's sitting there, unclaimed in a lot of waiver wires. That's where the opportunity is. If he does, in fact, get the Week 1 start on early downs and takes the goal line work, he instantly becomes one of the best sneaky pickups in the league. And here's the kicker. If it doesn't work out? If Krosky-Merritt takes over by Week 2 or Week 3, fantasy managers can simply cut Rodriguez and move on. It's a low-risk, high-reward play. Let's zoom out from the fantasy talk for a moment, because what really matters is how this plays out for the Commanders on the field. We know Jayden Daniels has the arm talent, the mobility, and the leadership to take this team far. We know Terry McLaurin and Deebo Samuel form one of the most dangerous wide receiver duos in the NFL. We know Laramie Tunsil is going to be locking down the blind side. But here's the truth. If Washington can't establish the run, defenses will key in on Daniels and the passing game. That's why this running back question isn't just a fantasy football debate. It's a real football necessity. Someone has to step up. And the beauty of the situation is this: whether it's Rodriguez, Kroski Merritt, or even a surprise contribution from Ekeler or Deebo Samuel lining up in the backfield, the Commanders have options. And in today's NFL, depth and versatility are everything. Here's where it gets interesting. Backfields like this can be maddening for fantasy players, but in reality, they can be the kind of advantage that fuels a championship run. Defenses can't key in on just one guy. Opposing coordinators have to prepare for multiple styles, multiple skill sets, and multiple threats. And if Washington handles it right, they'll have fresh legs deep into December and January when it really matters. That's the gamble. It might frustrate fantasy football managers every week, but it could be the very thing that helps the Commanders get back to the NFC Championship, and maybe even beyond. So here's the big picture, Commanders fans. Between Kendrick Bourne's visit, Terry McLaurin's return, the revamped pass rush, and the running back committee, this Week 1 matchup against the Giants is going to answer a lot of questions about who this team really is in 2025. Think about it. Last year, Jayden Daniels led this franchise from 4 to 13 to 12 to 5 in one season. He's already changed the culture. Now, with more weapons around him and a defense trying to re-establish its identity, the Commanders have a chance to prove to the entire NFL that they're not a one-year wonder, they're here to stay. So, Commanders fans, what do you think? Should the team sign Kendrick Bourne as another reliable weapon for Jayden Daniels? Are you confident McLaurin will hit the ground running after his contract saga? Do you believe Von Miller and the new-look defense can deliver the pass rush we've been waiting for? And who do you think should lead the running back committee in Week 1? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'll be reading every single one. And don't forget, hit that like button if you enjoyed this breakdown, and subscribe to Commanders HQ so you never miss an update on your team. This season is going to be wild, and we'll be here every step of the way. That's it.